Hello, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us on our regular 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern session that we have taking your immigration questions live. That's why the info we provide here is just for educational purposes. It's not intended as individual legal guidance. You got to consult with an immigration attorney in private for that. You can schedule time. Go to jqklaw.com/contact to set that up. But that's the way to do it. But we kind of just generally explain stuff to the extent possible to have a better understanding of what's going on in this complicated system that's U.S. immigration. We're coming to you live on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and TikTok. So 4 different places. No Facebook and Twitter for now. Some issues with that, but hey, we're here on all these different aspects of the internet, and we're going to take your questions live. Obviously, end of the year is coming, new administration is coming. Lots of unknowns happening in the immigration system. We'll see what's going to happen there. There's not really much we could guess other than bad stuff, certain bad stuff like travel bans popping up and delays coming up, especially because they're going to be mandating interviews for I-130s in the United States, probably, or marriage cases in the United States. But large chunks of people across the world are still going to be okay and same old, same old. So it's not all dread, but it's unknowns as we saw last time. But who knows? Maybe it'll be the president will take a different approach this time around. So just shoot over your questions. I'll be happy to give a general opinion about what's going on to the extent possible. Again, just type in your questions here. Lauren asked, I applied for my husband, his work permit, green card, but how long will the work permit take? I mean, most of the time it's taking like 6 weeks nowadays, but it could be longer. It's really just they're inconsistent. Saki asks, hey, sir, they revoked my I-130 application because, I'm sorry to hear that, my lawyer, he put wrong information. I'm sorry to hear that. So I need to see what the wrong information was. A revocation is kind of crazy, so I got to see what in the world happened there. That requires a private thing. So an I-130 petition is when you want a family member to come to the United States, you submit an I-130 petition. And it's apparently in this case it was approved, but then later they revoked it because of bad information. That's really troublesome. So we got to see what's going on. I'm sorry to hear that, Saki. Esto says I-751 filed for adjustment of status for married people waiting 2.5 years. Still, can I look? Okay, question doesn't make sense. I-751 is if you already have a green card, 2-year green card, and you're removing the conditions on that 2-year minimum. We want to get a 10-year green card. Adjustment of status is applying for a green card. So I'm not sure what you're saying. Now, maybe this is what you're saying. Do you need to file I-751 removal conditions? You only need to do that if your green card was approved, your marriage-based green card was approved before your second anniversary. You've been married for less than 2 years and your green card is approved. That's when it happens. But rephrase your question. You might be able to answer better that way. Bonnie says, do they ban the application for the Biden? Do they ban the application for the Biden? I don't know what that means. Please rephrase your question. Lauren follows up, will they still take the medical? We have done the medical before the new law. Yeah, they'll just request that you send it to them, Lauren. That's about it. You'll get a request for evidence notice. Jalal says, NBC won't let me upload documents. Is there any other way to try uploading? That's a major problem that's happening right now at the National Visa Center. This is if your case is consular processing and you're going through the embassy. Uploading documents into their system, which is how you do it, doesn't work. It glitches. It says the image doesn't work, this and that. You got to play around with it, new scans. It's a mess. Somewhere or another, we actually do it after 100 tries. Makes the whole process take 3 times as long. But it's a big problem that they're trying to fix, but they haven't fixed fully yet. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't really have a good answer for you about uploading those documents. It's a big challenge we're having right now as well. Arab Uncle says, will I-751 get a lot harder under Trump? There's no indication that they said they would get harder, so there's no way for me to know. Now, they've been waiving interviews for most I-751 cases in the last 4 years. They may require interviews, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's harder, but it'll just cause it to take you more time or at least interview if you consider that hard or not. Bonita says, how long does it take for the waiver once you apply for it? It depends on what kind of waiver, but it takes many years to get. I'm assuming you're thinking about the I-601 waiver. It's taking many years right now. Bonita says, my husband's I-130 is approved, and now we're working on the waiver. Yeah, once you submit it, right now it's taking 3 to 5 years for I-601 waiver or I-601A. Jesus asks, I am becoming a citizen soon. Congrats. Can I apply for my mother and my 5-year-old brother at the same time? You could apply for them, but the issue is that your mom's case will get done in let's say a year and a half, 2 years probably. But your brother's case is going to take like 15, 20 years. So what typically has to happen is you get a green card for your mom, and then your mom turns around and applies for your brother. And that's still going to take several years, 5 or 6 years probably. On the other hand, some people say, I haven't done this, but people have said we apply for humanitarian parole for the younger sibling to be in the United States until the case is ready. That's something you could do. So you get your mom's green card, apply for humanitarian parole for your brother to come be in the United States with the mom, your mother, until his case is ready. I haven't done it myself. That's what people say they do. I have other colleagues. Elmore has to have a deportation from 1995. Someone else signed the letter to attend the immigration court, and she never gave it to me. Should I be worried to be deported? I mean, if you have an in absentia order, you didn't show up to court, maybe. I don't know enough about your case, but essentially, if you're not here legally, there's a chance of being put to deportation. But I'd need to review your whole immigration history. Trades asks, hi, John. With the administration change, will USCIS speed get effective for processing fees? Probably. I don't know for sure, but probably. How successful is release from ICE through parole? I don't know. I don't do work that deals with ICE, so I can't do that. Lion says, hi, do you work with document translators? No, we don't work directly with them. And so it says, how can I look into my case changing from 2 years to 10-year visa? I'm not sure what that means. How can you look into it? If you file the case, it's just wait for it to get done. Eric says, I don't mind ISM-5. Will they become unjustly harsh in judging? These are, what is unjustly harsh? I mean, the question's like, I don't know. You're asking things I can't answer. Bush Lord says, can an offshore company have your B1 visa revoked? I don't. Why would an offshore company? Some of the questions here are a little bit, off. I don't know what that means. No one can have your case revoked. I mean, if they tell the embassy that you're doing some sort of fraud, maybe. But the embassy doesn't even answer emails, so who knows if they're going to pay attention to that? Okay, Linus, thank you for the comment. Dominic says, I received my green card yesterday. Should I update my SSN? It has DHS authorization of SSN. Yeah, better get a new Social Security card that doesn't have that limitation, so it doesn't freak out at future employers that your Social Security number card says like extra stuff on it. Shaki says, hi, do I put my paperwork for family joint, my father and my mother still pending after 1 year? Hi, I did put my paperwork for my family joint, my father and mother still pending after 1 year. Well, that's normal, 1 year, I-130, if that's what you're saying. Sarita says, what are some reasons embassies might expedite interview schedules besides medical reasons? I mean, there's harm to your life, a child's aging out, that kind of stuff. Mohammed said, is it a red flag if you and your spouse live in a different state? It is a red flag. It's not like a deal killer, but you have to have a good reason for it. So we document that reason in our applications. It does pop up. We get like a couple of these cases a year. For example, we might have it where one spouse is going to school in one state and the other spouse has work in another state, and so they're stuck living separately. But it's still doable. You just got to explain it. And if you have like records of visiting each other, it's helpful too. Fluff says, can I travel domestically via plane being out of status? Right now you can. I'm not sure if they're going to get hardcore on that in the future administration. Muhammad, okay, answer Muhammad's question. Queen next says, hi, do you know anything about F1 visas? Do I know anything? I'm an immigration lawyer. So, Queen, I have a detailed video on F1 visas. Go to YouTube channel for JQK Law and watch that. Shaki says, so what forms do I need to file just for family joint? I'm not sure what you mean. That depends on if they're here in the U.S. or outside. And just schedule a private consultation. Your question is hard to answer because it just doesn't make sense. Obu says, my cousin applied for my wife. My cousin applied for my wife in April 2022. Nothing yet. Keep asking my cousin. Say it depends 1 year. A cousin can't apply for your wife. So I'm not sure what that means, Abu Mataib. Are you talking about they applied for a work-based case, employment-based case, but there's no family-based case for cousins. So that doesn't make any sense. If they applied for something, there should be receipts, so you should have documentation of it. I says, what are the requirements, documents for K1 visa I'm planning to do in January? Check out the I-129F instructions. This isn't the place to go over whole sections of the law, but just check out the instructions for the form I-129F. Vanessa says, hi, I have cancer. I'm sorry to hear that. My sister is here a while to get my treatment. Can I apply for emergency humanitarian parole on her behalf in order for her to extend her stay here? I would probably just request for a B2 extension if she's here on a tourist visa. So that's probably ask for a year's worth of time. But you could do parole too. I mean, yeah, parole have to be outside the United States, I think. So I would, if they're here and they're probably here on a B2, request extension on that. Mano says, "Good evening, sir. I filed F2A in June 2022. I didn't get approval yet. My service is California. Is there any time period? There's no time period, but what I'm seeing is I-130 F2As are taking like 3 years. Unfortunately, it was like 2 years. It's more like 3 years now. It's pretty ridiculous. You're welcome, Vanessa. She's on tourist visa. Yeah, request an extension. Ask for 12 months on it. They have the ability to approve for 12 months. Hopefully, they will. Or they'll just give you 6 months. I wish you the best in the cancer treatment. Denise says, I missed my biometric appointment due to it came my mail too late. What should I do? Contact USCIS and ask for rescheduling, either online system or thing or a phone. They'll probably automatically reschedule it, but just call them. It's better to call and let them know. Hershey says, is it possible for the EB3 to include their family members as well? My dad's employer won't include it. So they don't need to include family members. The family members come in at the adjustment of status and consular processing stage, so they don't necessarily need to be part of the initial application. Um, it's better to include it. I mean, there's this form section on it. I'm not sure why they wouldn't include it. Bo says, I want a visa. I want to come to America. I live in Africa. I'm not sure if I can help you on that. Rotimi says, will green card holders be allowed back into the country when Trump institutes another travel ban? Yeah, you can't ban a resident from coming to the country, so that's not an issue. Okay, let's see. Do you expect any changes in immigration law soon? Immigration law changes every day. So even without Trump, um, I see it as an immigration lawyer, but like every day, the immigration law changes a little bit. There'll probably be more changes at the coming administration. Thorbox says, how long does it take to get your green card once you apply with the fiance visa after marriage? Will you file for adjustment of status 3 months to a year? Vasalu says, can you see my question? Nope, Vasalu, I did not see any question. Oh, I see it now. Sorry. I got an MBA. I was granted with STEM OPT, but I haven't been able to find a job during the 3+2. I'm from Spain, went back to Europe. What can I do? Is there a chance of getting another kind of visa? Another visas are possible. You could file for like E2, start your own business to an E2. So any kind of visa, that's really open-ended. So yeah, sure. It depends on if you satisfy them. Sorry you couldn't keep the STEM OPT going. But that's that. I would probably look into the E2 if you start a business in the US. If you want to come back to more schooling, F1 maybe. Or if you have a married U.S. citizen, marriage case or something like that, or green card, there's all this stuff's possible. H. Al says, how long does marriage adjustment currently take? My priority date is November. Well, there's more information I need. For example, is it a U.S. citizen marriage case or a green card holder marriage case? And the timelines are all over the place. And Trump's coming, it's going to affect timelines. Daddy says, will my B2 visa be canceled if I 185 is denied? I think it's I-485 that you're saying. And at this point, if you file for adjustment of status, you've overstayed, and that's going to cause they're going to get you for immigrant test. So don't use a B2 visa if you have one. H says citizenship marriage. I don't know, 3 months to a year and a half. That's the average time frame. Hirsch says, have you heard any changes for CSPA? There were changes like 6 or 9 months ago that were to the benefit of the applicant, but it really depends on unique circumstances. You got to see what's going on in your case. Utah here says, is it okay to travel outside the U.S. on a 48-month green card extension letter if you have a clean background? Yeah. What's Stokes interview? It's hard. Yeah, Stokes interview is when they're questioning you about your relationship. They separate you and your spouse and they grill you on questions. I mean, it's a little more intense, but if you have the answers, it's not hard. It's just like, separate you and people get nervous. Rochelle says, became a citizen last year. Congrats. And fell for my mom. It's been 50 months and says still pending. Yeah, unfortunately, the I-130 takes a while. How does a T visa work? Our office doesn't accept T visa, so I don't want to get into that. Melanie says, I was granted asylum last year, February 9th. Congrats. File for green card at this point. Sam Breedy says, so it's better to travel outside the U.S. if I have a green card after Trump takes over. So it's better to travel outside the U.S. if I have a green card after Trump takes over. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you have a green card, it doesn't matter Trump, that's that. I'm not sure what you're asking. Mano says, now someone saying 2 children is not eligible. I'm not sure what you mean, Manu. Oops, 2 children is not. I'm not sure what you mean, Mano. Rochelle says, being reviewed, anything to do with speed up the process? No, not really. Business Mindset says, we received an RFE and we began working on your case again. You assess it's been pending for 100 days. Yeah, there's no deadline. How much to respond? Didi says, should I upload photos after 14? I'm not sure what your question. What's that regarding? I can't advise you on what to do. Matt says, how long is it going to take to get your interview? That's up to the office doing the interview. Sometimes it's like a month. Sometimes it's like 2-3 years. RE7 says, I'm here over 18. Is it a good time to apply for asylum? If you have a good asylum case and it was less than 1 year here, it's not a good or bad time. If you need to do it, you need to do it. Hirsch says, what's your opinion on Trump saying giving green cards to international students? I don't think that's going to happen. That's kind of like a crazy thing to say. It's not even possible for him to make that decision. Sam Brady says for him to be able to give green cards, Congress has to pass a law for that. The president just can't like increase the number of green cards on his own. Sam Brady says, I'm sorry, is it better not to travel with green cards to the U.S. if Trump comes over? No, you're a resident. You should be able to travel as you like. There's no reason. Unless you're doing criminal stuff or illegal stuff, there's no reason for you to be worried. Should I upload wedding photos after I-130 submitted? I mean, you should have just done it with the case, but sure, if you want to. How I get my master hearing? You'll be scheduled one. You're welcome, Sam Brady. Awesome says, what's your opinion about U visa after receiving bona fides for long approval? We don't do U's or VAWA and stuff like that. We do VAWA very rarely, but we don't do U's. So I don't really want to get into that. Or asylum. How long does Embassy Nepal take to schedule a fiance visa appointment? Probably like 6 or 9 months. Tish Talk says, if I filed for my son in a different country before I got my citizenship, and I'm a citizen now, what do you do? I mean, probably need to contact a letter USCIS to say keep my case as F2B instead of F1. But I need to know more details about your case to see which it is. The kid's under 21 over, are they married or not? There's a lot of details I need to know. So schedule a consultation. S. Sam says, this regard adjustment of status, my wife's U.S. citizen, doesn't work. I'm the beneficiary. What documents need for I-64 if I want to use my income? I have a work permit and working legally. Sam, what is your work permit based on that you're working here legally? Do you have DACA? Princess says, I got my I-94, but I can't find my visa. Is it okay to just use my passport and the I-94? For what? Are you applying for like green card? What kind of status? What are you applying for? Rock says, I have asylum with withholding of removal. Can I reopen my case? My daughter's 21 citizen. We don't handle those kind of cases, so I'm not a good resource for that. User 8 says, we have taken action on your case. 6 days, still no update. Yeah. Okay, Sam, you have asylum pending. If you're working legally, you can use your income, but asylum pending is not a reliable status. So I'd prefer that you have like what's it called, like a joint sponsor. But give it a shot. On the form I-864, it asks. There's a part that says using intending immigrants' income, and so you'd have like proof of your income, taxes, pay stubs, and your work permits where you have work authorization, and see if it works. They could say no, but it's possible. Ahmad says, would asylee get his status terminated if his country president just got overthrown? Not if you already have asylum. User 808 says, we have taken action to answer that question. Keep asking the same question over and over again. Oyaba says, please, we mailed the I-129F to the wrong address. That's the Nebraska office. Will they send it back? If you send it to the wrong USCIS address, internally they'll rejigger it and send it to the right place. It might just take an extra 10 days or so. User 808 says, if you send it the completely wrong address, then you should resend it to USCIS. Mano says, sir, my uncle applied F4 application 2006. We got the welcome letter last year. They have 3 children, but they got welcome letter last year in April, 2 children because they were underage. Well, we got to do the calculation for Child Status Protection Act to see if the oldest child could still be part of the application. I have a detailed video on this on YouTube. Check that out. JQK Law CSPA video. I did like a month or 2 ago. If you want to schedule a private consultation, just go to jqqlaw.com/contact. You can check it out there. Hossein says, hello, my mom just give up her green card because she was out of the country for 20 years. A few weeks ago, I filed her I-407 for her. Can I reapply for a green card? Yeah, you can reapply. You should do that. Now, someone's saying 2-child is not eligible. I have to check out the ages and stuff like that and the I-130 approval notice. So I can't advise here. Something I have to individually analyze. User 808 says, we answered that question. Niv says, are there any known or expected changes in naturalization process time? But no, there's nothing known. Princess says green card. What was your question before Princess? Let's see. If you have I-94, it's enough. You don't have to have your visa. Proof of lawful entry is the main thing for green card adjustment status. We don't do asylum, Angel, so I don't want to answer your question. Dino says, what matters, the arraignment charges or the disposition of the case? Everything. Missy says, are interviews still being waived for most cases in the U.S.? Malcolm says, I had Mr. Not a VAWA case. They're doing interviews for all of them now. I had Mr. Minor in case dismissed. They affected my green card. I had misdemeanor in my case dismissed. It can. Probably not, but it's discretion. We have to get the facts of the case. Fiona says, if I owe back taxes to IRS, will affect my filing a petition I-130. It won't file the petition per se. It can. I think they did something, but it's going to affect the affiliated support potentially. They can hassle you about that. Probably not. I can't remember. I'm trying to move my head. There's something about back taxes. I can't remember exactly. So probably not, but I'm not saying that with 100% certainty. I remember there's something around that, but it doesn't come up too often. Daddy says my TB results are positive. Do I still have to wait to get negative to file? No, you have to you have to start a regimen for dealing with the TB, so the doctor help you with that. But if they complete the paperwork for you, then you can file. Marilyn says, how can I get a copy of the advance parole? When we came back, they kept the paperwork. You could do a FOIA request for it, but you don't necessarily need a copy of the paperwork. I'm guessing you need a DACA advance parole. Just check out your I-94 online. That's what you need. Ahmad says, so how long as I was granted asylum won't be revoked? I'm filing I-45 soon. So as long as I was granted asylum, yeah. You're welcome, Princess. Sony says, what's the current timing for one? I'm not sure what visa category that is. Jay, do you know why many cases of adjustment went from 13 months to 56? No, it's just the government's unreliable. Tish Talk, I filed for child under 21 as a permanent resident. Now I'm a citizen. What to do? Tell the government now your child's under 21. That's an immediate relative case. And if you file individually for them, and the case will go by much faster. So you got to notify, you got to see where the case is. If it's USCIS, notify them that you're a citizen. If it's with the National Visa Center, notify them that you're a citizen. But make sure it wasn't like an I-130 you did for your spouse and your children in it, because if you became a citizen, your children drop out of that case. You have to start fresh. Ovar says, do you think my I-751 will be approved before my green card expiration date? Before expiration, I did 90-day period. No, there's no way at all that your green card is going to be approved before the expiration date of your 2-year green card. That's impossible. Sonia says, how long is the processing time for I-130 I-45? It's all over the place. Depends on what kind of case you have. 3 months to 2 years average. No, just child. Yeah, Tish Talk. So notify the government that you're a citizen. They don't talk with them internally to figure that out, and then ask that you be changed to the proper category and follow up with them because they make a lot of mistakes and stuff. You're welcome, Sonia. Hosting, I'll answer your question. All right, we got 7 more minutes. Shoot your questions over about U.S. immigration law. Happy to answer them here to the best extent that I can. Princess says, where am I located? I'm located in Los Angeles, but our location doesn't matter for any of these cases. We do everything online, phone, email, that kind of stuff. So it's an international firm, essentially. Like our location doesn't matter. And let's see, what kind of case did you have? You're asking about. Let me try to remember. Princess says, thank you. We probably are a typical kind of case that we handle, and we don't have to be in the same city or state. Okay. At Yami HP says, if I have a 212 approved, my husband's petition now have VAWA, that 212 is still valid? If you have VAWA, the VAWA itself waives everything. So I'm not sure you got to see why you would need the waivers for. But VAWA is a waiver automatically for a bunch of stuff. Maryland says, in the adjustment of status for someone who has DACA and already has a work permit, do we do I-765? You can if you want. If you want backup or something like that, it'll be cheaper to get the EAD through that, but it's up to you. You don't have to. Princess, okay, you're welcome. Just contact us, Princess, jqklaw.com/contact, and we'll take it from there. Pearly says, hi, does addition of evidence after the 180 days? Hi, does addition of evidence affect the 180 days? I'm not sure which 180 days you're referring to. S. Sam says, you think Trump will make the immigration process faster or slower for marriage adjustment? It's going to make it slower because he's going to require in-person interviews probably. And so that just means, the government's going to be more busier spending time on interviews where they weren't doing that before. So it's going to slow them down. Hurst says, what do you think will happen to Dreamers under Trump? I don't know. His last interview, he said he's trying to make a deal for them. I kind of believe him, but I don't know. Inevitably, there has to be some sort of amnesty, but I don't know. The borders, they got to fix the border situation first. A couple million people came last couple of years. They got to get more strict. I mean, they're going to get more strict about asylum and all that. Then once they fix that up, probably do a what's called amnesty. Femi says, I'm married and I have a green card for 10 years. Can I leave the marriage because it's not working out? Yeah, if you had a valid case and all that kind of stuff and your relationship's not working out, you don't have to stay there. Would that include documented dreamers? I don't. I mean, like, I'm saying hypothetical, made up stuff. So I really, it doesn't make sense for me to talk more details than that. Something that's like I have no idea or no power over. Nat says, do you think H1B folks will get some relief? I don't have any opinions in a sense. I don't know. Gita says, hi, anything new on DACA? No, nothing new on DACA. Just make sure you renew it. If you have it, it's going to expire like in 6 months. Renew it while you can. And if you have, if you didn't enter the U.S. lawfully and you have a reason to travel, try to get advanced parole. Do that travel so you have that lawful entry in case you need to use it later too. Esto says, what documents do you recommend to have when you travel to avoid mistaken deportation? Uh, just have like whatever your status is. I mean, I'm not sure what you mean. It depends on what status you have, but there's no mistaken deportation. I don't know. Like, it's really case specific. Gita says, thank you. You're welcome. Yami says, my question is if I can travel with advanced parole if I have 212 because I had deportation, I wouldn't travel with deportation. Or I'm not a specialist in deportation 212s and stuff, but I just wouldn't bother. As it says on Brown, that's kind of stuff is not like, if you think racial profiling is going to happen, but it really depends on what your status is. Sia says, if a case says step 4 or 4 case decision, is it the case is waived? Step 4 or 4 case decision. I'm not sure which step what you're referring to. Like that says that. And so I'm not sure what status you have, but if you have status, you have nothing to worry about. All right, so we only have a couple more minutes left. If you want to ask more questions, it says if you don't have blue eyes, you'll be stopped. I mean, okay. I mean, I don't have answers for you. Nikki says, I'm doing my own VAWA because I do not have the funds. Do you have any advice for me? Nikki, I don't do VAWA cases myself, so I don't, but just make it a solid case. I explain what the reason is and mail it to the right place, all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry to hear that you have to do VAWA, but it's doable. Just have consistency and well explanations. Cake says, hello. It's normal for I-130 both reside in the USA to take 45 months. I stay on the US website. Depends on what kind of I-130 you have. And the timelines at USCIS.gov are not reliable. Hirsch says, did the current visa bulletin adjust for good or bad? Generally not good. There's like 20 different categories there. So like it depends on which one you're talking about for which country. But generally it didn't move forward much. Marilyn says, if I did advanced parole and now I'm doing the adjustment status, what proof can it show? You probably have an I-94 or a stamp in your passport or something like that. If you came on a land border, they don't have much, so that should have paid for it. So you got to plan this stuff ahead of time. But it depends. I got to see what's going on in your case. Yasmini says, what can I do? My case I-130 has been under received and notice in out 7 months. Nothing. 7 months is like nothing for immigration timelines. Sherby says, I got approved for AP with TPS and don't know where to start in booking a flight for vacation. Okay, I'm not sure what your question is for immigration wise. Elise says, thoughts on I-693 requirement update. Was ready to file concurrent this week, but just noticed the December 2 update. Yeah, you got to file it with the application. So we have to get the medical checkup. Joey says, my friends are seeking asylum, have their interview with the immigration judges Friday. Best of luck to them. I'll take a couple more questions and call it a day. Femi says, can I marry someone who's not a citizen and I have a green card for 10 years after leaving married? Yes, but you gotta be careful. If you want to apply for a green card for that person and you're getting married and file for a green card within 5 years, and when you got your own green card, they could be problems. So that you should consult an immigration attorney in private. Abby says, can I still join the military and get my parents' citizenship? If you're a citizen, you can apply for your parents. Potentially, it depends on their background. What are your thoughts on 221G administrative processing I got after my concert review? I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Jake says, plus, does work authorization take more than 5 months after biometrics? But I got 2 RFEs on M1 I-130. The timelines vary dramatically. Vatsal says, are they still waiving marriages? Right now they are, but I'm not sure if it's going to be the same next month. Ludwig says, filed I-130 my father since 2021. Does it take longer, like 7 years or more? A U.S. citizen applying for parent, the I-130 shouldn't take more than 13 months average, maybe 14 months. So if it's taking since 2021, there's issues with their case. There's some sort of complication. Shem says, out of status, married to a PR, can you file now or have to wait till a spouse becomes citizen? You can file the I-130 now, but I'd probably just wait till a spouse is a citizen. It depends on the case and what reason you have to file. Because maybe you can file the I-130 and it will create some sort of indirect protections, but we got to talk about that. Because what happens is I'll explain it. That'll be the last question. So when you're a green card holder and you're out of status, you're married to a green card holder, you can't file for a green card, the adjustment status from I-45 because you're out of status. But once your spouse becomes a citizen, you can. Now, usually you want to file the I-130, which is the form that says I'm married and stuff, and the I-45, the form says I want a green card together because it's just smoother that way to have all the documents together. If you submit the I-130 now, you're telling the government where you live, you're out of status, and you're in the United States illegally. And so that's some fear there. They don't particularly pursue it usually, but you're telling the government where you live. So that's a decision you have to make. On the other hand, let's say a random situation happens where you run into ICE and they want to pick you up. I've seen it where they go in their system and they see like they have an I-130 pending and they'll just say, okay, let this person go. It's not official, and that might not happen in your case if that rare circumstance has. Probably not going to happen in your life, but that's one thing right there. You can always just tell them I'm married to a green card holder and they might just let you go too. It depends on who they are, how much they care, and if you even get caught up in a situation like that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm immigration lawyer John Casravi. If you want to schedule a private consultation, please go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact. Fill out the information there and we get started. Other than that, we'll be back again next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, to take your questions live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. God bless. Be safe. I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.